So today we're going to talk a little bit about practice. And practice is a big thing because it encompasses lots of things, but that's basically what I want to talk about is how the brain and the body are connected to each other and how the brain and the body send each other signals of all sorts of things. They're constantly behind the scenes doing and sending messages that are tracking everything that we're not consciously tracking, but the brain and the body are talking to each other all the time. So we've heard the term or the saying, practice makes perfect, and we think about it in terms of like skills, like, oh, if I practice building these models or whatever, I get better at it, or I practice the piano, a skill or a talent, if you practice singing or practice an instrument, practice, playing guitar or whatever it is, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So practice is something that by doing something and repeating it and spending time on it and thinking about it, we get better at whatever we're doing. So they say it takes about 21 days to create a habit. It's about 3 weeks, and creating a habit is basically you're practicing something, you're doing it over and over and over again until you get good at it or until it becomes second nature. So a habit is like a second nature. It's something that's just part of who we are. Practicing also can encompass thoughts, feelings, negative actions, positive actions. So it can be positive or negative. We can practice things that are good or bad. We can have good or bad habits. We are all aware of that. I work in mental health, and sometimes I lead groups and I talk with my patients, and I was with my kiddos, so I work with adolescents. We talked about this idea of practice. We practice all these things, we get good at them, but have you ever thought about the fact that you practice your thoughts? And so sometimes we spend a lot of time thinking about how depressed we are, how I don't have this and I don't have that, and my friend has this, and I'm not good at this, and I'm not good at that, and I'll never be that, and I'll never have this, and and we spend a lot of time being, nobody likes me, I'm not good enough, all these like negative self-talk things. And we all go through them. I mean, I struggle with it all the time. Oh, I'm just not good enough. At least in my estimation, because I have really high expectations of certain things. So even when we know better, because I definitely know better, that positive self-talk is also really a powerful thing and a powerful tool. And here in many cultures, we try not to be proud. So we kind of say, oh, don't elevate yourself. And so we sometimes may mistake positive self-talk as, we're trying to be grandiose, or we're so self-absorbed and so cocky, or whatever the terminology may be, so conceited, rather than self-confident and self-assured, which are positive things, they're great things, right? So those are things we want to do. And so we struggle with, like, I don't want to pump myself up too much, I want to get a big head, or we do with kids, we don't want to get them overconfident because we don't want them to be egotistical, and so it's that balance of saying you're awesome, you're amazing, you're worthy, versus you won't have to work hard in life to achieve whatever you have because you're so great, or you have all this. It's like a different kind of, being conceited is usually comes out of a sense of insecurity, and so you put others down. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, saying, I am worthy, and building our self-esteem in a positive way. And not just that, but just, building our relationships in a positive way, because the way we talk to others should be the way we talk to ourselves. The way we talk to ourselves should be the way we talk to others. And that should be in a positive way. We want to build each other up and build ourselves up and not tear each other down, because we have way too much of that in society. And I think that's one of the sad things about the society we live in right now. We spend too much time tearing each other down, and rather than building each other up and building community. And that's really where the strength of ourselves and the strength of who we are comes from, is a sense of strong community, and a healthy way of being comes from that. So sometimes we have these thoughts and we're practicing, because I keep thinking them over and over, so it's like a practice, and then we get really good at it. I'm really good at downing myself, I'm really good at worrying. I'm a great worrier because I spend so much time doing it, or I'm a great, like, woe is me, I think of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, it's just like, whoa, and that's okay to be in that space sometimes, but when we're there so often that we don't know how to get out of it, it's just not a healthy place for us to be. So we want to practice saying the opposite and getting out of that space. So our brain and body are talking all the time. So when we're constantly giving ourselves messages like, I'm not good enough, I'm sad no one likes me, nobody cares about me, I will never have that, I'll never, your brain talks to your cells, and so it kind of prepares your body to be in that space where it's just like, and so you're not trying to accomplish, you're not working towards, your body isn't building you up and keeping you healthy and keeping you in a place where you're working towards something positive. It just kind of lets you get sick and ill because you're just not good enough, so why even bother, So those thoughts are really powerful. And so positive thoughts have the same, effect the opposite way. So if we spend a lot of time complaining, nothing's ever going right, we're never going to see the good stuff. But if we spend our time being grateful and being kind and thinking about, how to lift others up and how to lift ourselves up in a way that doesn't hurt anyone else, right? Then we're also able to change the way our brains and our bodies think. Because if I'm thinking, today's going to be a great day, I am smart, I am strong, I am talented, I have, the ability to get through my work today, even if we don't like our work. I'm good at it because I have these skills. I want to have that positive day, so I'm going to put a smile on my face and I'm going to treat people with respect. And, even if they don't treat me with respect, I'm not going to let that bring me down. And so we kind of can set our intention for the day in a positive way and practice those positive thoughts and positive actions, because it's so easy to get into that negative. It's so easy to stoop down to someone says something mean, you say something mean back. And it's a really easy cycle to stay in that kind of negative space, And so you kind of got to break it. And sometimes it means someone's going to say something to you, but a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing. I learned this in nursing, big time. People are in there. Everyone has their own journey, right? We're all fighting our own battle. I think that was Plato who said that we're all fighting our own battle. So be kind, So they're going through stuff. They're struggling with pain, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be. So they're going to lash out at whoever's there. And a lot of times nurses are there. So we get lashed out at a lot. But I always come back to, this is not about me. This is something else that's going on with them. This is a reflection of where they're at, not where I'm at. So I have to practice to stay in that space of, I'm holding the space open for you to be able to feel what you have to feel because it's important, but I'm going to still be here to take care of you because that's my purpose here. This is what I'm here for. So practicing positivity is good when times are good, because when you're practicing being kind to yourself and lifting yourself up, then when negative times come, you can go back to that space. It's just like when you practice deep breathing. This is for people that have anxiety. It's really good when you're not having anxiety to practice deep breathing, to really connect to your body and to your breath and take those deep, strong inhales and exhales. The exhale helps to slow down your heart rate, slow down your blood pressure, and kind of just relax you. That exhale is really important. So if you practice doing that all the time when you're not in an anxiety mood, in an anxiety attack, or in that state, when that state comes, when something happens, if you have trained yourself and practiced breathing, you can come back to that breath and to that sense. That's the one thing you're controlling right now. Something maybe feel out of control, but you are coming back to that breath. And you are calming your body, and you're able to do that. So when you practice that outside of the moment when it's happening, your body will know how to do that and how to control your own situation, your own level of anxiety, and your own level of how you're going to react to something because you've practiced it. So it's a beautiful thing. So that's another thing I practice with my kids, at my patients and my adult patients as well, is to teaching them and learning how to return to breath. And to kind of take that control back, because your body will go into fight or flight. Like when you're stressed or you're anxious or something happens, your body goes into that fight or flight mode. It's the sympathetic nervous system just going wild and crazy. Your heart races. You're just all tense and you're breathing shallow. You want to bring yourself back into that parasympathetic. Slow down. Let's get this under control. I'm going to relax. There's not a saber-toothed tiger after me. Something may be stressful, but. And in times there definitely, people have definitely been facing danger, so I'm not putting that down at all, but how we can react in that moment if we can bring ourselves back. So practice is one of those things. Gratitude is a beautiful very powerful, powerful tool for happiness. I've heard, Dalai Lama talks about this, another Desmond Tutu, another prominent world leaders and just people in all walks of life practice gratitude. And a grateful heart is really a powerful, powerful resource to get through your day. So when you are grateful, you create joy. And the way that this works is it's so easy to fall into our societal, oh, I want more, I need more, look what they have, I want that too, oh, I don't have this, I gotta work harder so I can have that. And it's very materialistic, and it's very what you have that you're showing. You're not building, a wealth of experiences or relationships or other things that can bring joy. People can find joy in objects, but it's not the same type of joy, that deep, everlasting joy, because after a while it's just an object and it doesn't matter as much. So when we're just so busy trying to get, we're actually neglecting something deeper of who we are. So when we practice gratitude for the simple things, it actually creates joy, because you're never going to be happy when you're just going after things, because you'll never have enough because there's too much to get. So practicing gratitude creates a sense of contentment. I have enough, of satisfaction. So simplest things. I live in Las Vegas, and there's an enormous homeless population in Las Vegas. And I work with some of them, come to our hospital, people come in and they are just in probably the worst case scenario you can think of, So it's easy to start there, because you can't continuously be angry about your life when you see that, I can't be this ungrateful person. I have a roof over my head. I have food in my refrigerator. I can put food on my table. I have a pillow. This is one of the things I would tell my kiddos. You have a pillow and a blanket. You can be grateful for those, because there's people sleeping on the street and they have just the clothes on their back and maybe a newspaper or a cardboard box to put their head on. So that is one thing we can say, this is cozy and it's warm and it feels safe. So little things that we can just be like, I'm grateful for this. I remember this man told a story once of, he was trying to be grateful because he was going through a hard time, and he just was looking at things around him, and he just picked up his fork and he said, I'm grateful for this fork. But it kind of changed something in him, because it was like, I have a fork. Some people don't have forks. Some people are eating dirty food because they don't have clean environment to eat in. So we in this country, I think, and in our society, we take things so everything's such a big deal, because we compare too much. We spend too much time comparing what we don't have and thinking about that, rather than thinking about what we do have and being grateful for it. I've gone through many hard times. Someone gave me a gratitude journal. It was during the time, the hardest period of my life. Everything was changing, everything was shifting. My significant other and I were drifting apart. Work wasn't coming. I was working 3 jobs. It was just, there was so much going on. So my relationship was failing. My job situation financially, it was very stressful. There was just a lot. I was away from family. There was just a lot of things going on. Music wasn't going in the direction that I hoped. There was just, a lot of things, a lot of my things that were supposed to work out well were not working out well. And it was a really difficult time. And I was sad and angry and disillusioned and not grateful. Definitely not grateful. It was not a grateful time. But someone gave me this journal, and it was a really powerful tool, because I remember back to what that guy had said about the fork, and I was like, all right, fine. I'm grateful for my fork. I'm grateful for my pillow. Where it kind of just started with the real simple basic things, And then, I got my dog in that time, and that was a lot of my gratitude at that point, was like, I'm grateful for my dog. She is someone I can snuggle with. She's someone that I can take on walks. She basically gives me motivation and reason to get out of the house. There's all these little things. And so as I kind of grew in that, I was like, what? I have these amazing friends who were stepping up. I was going through this hard time. People that were just kept coming in and even just sitting with me during my hard time. They didn't have to say or do anything. They were just there, bringing me food, saying, hey, are you eating? So I had people like that in my life. I had other friends who would just come and be with me and just keep me company. And friends who let me sleep in their spare room when things just completely fell apart. Before I moved back to live where my family was and go back to school and start over. They were definitely angels on my path that, taught me the beauty of gratitude, because they gave me so much to be grateful for. So practicing gratitude is something that I try to implement now. Like every day, this exercise is just in the morning, you can say one thing you're thankful for, write it down. At nighttime, write down or think through 3 things you're thankful for. And it just kind of creates joy in your life. So it's a beautiful practice. Another thing we can practice when we're not kind of in that negative space is smiling. Smiling is really powerful. It's kind of cheesy and corny. But the beautiful and amazing thing about smiling is that in the action of your muscles coming up, there's the pathway to your brain. Your muscles, cells are connected to your brain, and what happens then is that it creates, or it releases, your brain then releases dopamine, which is a motivating neurotransmitter. It releases serotonin, which is kind of our happy neurotransmitter. People that lack serotonin generally tend to be quite depressed. So smiling is actually a way that your brain can create serotonin. And same way with it also creates endorphins, releases endorphins into your body. So these hormones are natural. Endorphins are natural painkillers in our body. So if we're feeling kind of pain, and pain is connected both to our mental state and our physical state. We know our brain can send a message. If you're worrying, your brain will connect that to your stomach. You might have like that, oh, I can't function, I'm worried, and you've got that kind of like, and you're tense up and your muscles are sore. Worry, so a mental state will definitely show up as a physical state. Or anxiety, like I said before, your hands are sweaty, you're tense, your breathing is shallow, you might have knots in your stomach, and you're just kind of in your body, your physical state changes. And so same kind of thing where your body and your brain are connecting and are talking to each other. So the endorphins are released when you smile, and it's a natural painkiller. So endorphins in our bodies are our body's own natural painkiller. So they always say laughter is the best medicine. I think that comes from that, is the fact that smiling, laughing, all of these movements of joy send those messages to the right part of our brain to release then more goodness into our body. So it's a really powerful tool. Laughter too, I think the sound of it, because sound is also really powerful. I feel like I'm going off into lots of different topics because there's so many things connected. And when I look at the person as a holistic being, everything is connected. Sound, color, all of our senses are connected to our physical body and what's going on. So laughter, sometimes that ha 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 is something that your body's releasing, a powerful energy, just like crying. It's your body's releasing an energy, whether it needs to shift because your body always wants to balance. So it's like negative or sad or sadness or whatever it may be, it's just releasing that, letting it out so that your body can then get back in balance. So our bodies are amazing, like I've said a million times before, even though you haven't seen a million of my videos yet, but I will always say that our bodies are amazing. And I'm constantly in awe of how it works together for our good. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, about practice, and how we have the ability and we have the choice to practice, to bring good things into our life, and to practice joy, practice positivity, and practice being good to ourselves, because that then overflows, and then we can build community, and we can build better relationships, and we can build a stronger society. And I feel like we really need that right now, where I think there's so much division and so much suspicion and so much like, get away, I don't even want to meet you, see you, talk to you, and we've just created all these barriers and walls against each other, and and so I think we just need to bring those down, and that takes practice. And it takes the practice of saying, I am good, I am worthy, I am strong, I am smart, I am talented, I am able, I am brave. Whatever it is that you need to tell yourself each day to get you through your day and to prepare your body and your cells to be that with you, do it. You're amazing. What are the things that you tell yourself? What do you tell yourself, good or bad? Write it in the comments. What are the things that are helpful to you? Start a conversation. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and join the conversation. Thanks for being here.